All right, so my question that I have for Grace, which I asked her off camera because I thought it was stupid. I didn't think it was worth asking. Did I, Grace? I thought it was
No.
stupid. The question was, if we took out the notion of money and commerce from the world, would that actually be good for the world, or would it put it in a bad place? I think it's a stupid question.
Why do you think it's a stupid question?
Because I don't know if it's something that we can truly dissect from the way we think, the way we do things. Even if we took away money, we'd still be bartering for stuff, right? For me to get something from you that you owned, I'd have to give you something. You wouldn't give it to me for free. That's just not how we think.
But that's in the attempt of maintaining a lifestyle that we currently have.
Ooh.
Like, I drink coffee every day, and therefore I don't have coffee. I don't grow it. I don't do that. So therefore it would be in my nature to try find something to make something to barter for it. That I understand. I understand the fact that we try to stick to our ways. But, and to be honest, we've always had some form of barter because we always want something there. But if we were to change our requirements and our needs,
It's tough. I mean,
but then you've got like the prospect of shops and things like, so they wouldn't exist, and you only have what you have, and we actually can't, in any form of society or whatever, we actually can't make or create or have everything that we need. Even way back when we were like, well, I would like lamb, and so I will buy your lamb, but I also want, eggs, and like in all terms of food, in all terms of being able to make clothing. You can't actually, there's not enough hours in the day to be able to make sure that you have food and clothing and shelter and all that kind of jazz all by your family unit.
Yeah.
So the thing is that without the ability to be like, hey, I'll have the lamb and you have the chickens and we'll make a deal. So I don't think we would actually be able to function or particularly provide or create any form of lifestyle without the ability of sharing the load of resources.
okay. So now you know why I thought it was a stupid question.
No, but it was an interesting discussion to get there.
Yeah.
Why are you condemning yourself? Don't do that. No.
It's just I think that we are suspicious of people who don't deal with money in that way. Like, there's quite a few egalitarian people aside from myself in the music scene who want to do stuff without thinking about how money is part of the equation, and you often come up against a brick wall of non-understanding when you try and do things that way. So that's where the question came from.
Yeah, I mean, also then you've got the thing is that money becomes it represents value, and in terms of the arts industry or whatever, how much you earn or how much you paid or how much you pay for a ticket to go see a place or a thing is dependent on how expensive it is. And so in terms of that, if people are like, hey, I'm going to do all my gigs for free, then you're going to go along and be like, these guys just got up and did it for free. They're obviously not that much of a big deal. So that's where the issue comes involved, because it's actually just a representation of value.
I get that, very much so. I think that there is such a thing as cultural credit, though. If you're doing a gig for free with other musicians who are doing it for free and there's a certain vibe to it, then that in itself becomes valuable.
True, but then those sorts of circumstances, with the exclusion of sort of the very small, very early, like small-scale musicians, the only other example of that is when a whole bunch of very famous performers get together and do something, like, was it like Aid for Africa a while ago, or whatever.
Live Aid?
Live Aid, and those sorts of things, and then it's like, we're doing it for the warm fuzzies, which is totally legitimate, but that's where the value comes in, because it's supposedly surpassing them being paid, but also they've been paid up until then and happen to be very successful and quite well off. So that's the next sort of dilemma on that
I suppose
front.
so. I've got two scenarios running through my mind. I mean, I think on the one hand, it's very, very healthy for a band, excuse the bad grammar, it's healthy for a band to get a booking fee so that they are taken to an extent more seriously by promoters. On the other hand, I think we're very suspicious about groups of lots of musicians getting together who've got a lot of money saying, hey, we're going to do something for a cause. Because I don't think we particularly trust them to do it in the right way. I don't know how many times I've heard about Live Aid being something, oh, you know, we got all this money, but we still got like famine, I don't get it. Which I know it's a flawed argument, but I can see where the suspicion comes from. Because they still live with those lifestyles, they still have 4 or 5 houses. They still have 2 yachts named after their pet chihuahua. So why shouldn't they be suspicious? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an issue in a variety of organizations. I mean, where does the money actually go? Why does this person need to have millions and millions, and all the employees need to be on minimum wage and all that kind of jazz? But that's just been an issue as soon as we've started up those kinds of organizations. Therefore, the debate is actually in the system that's in place in order to make sure money goes to the right places and all that kind of jazz. But the thing is that, oh, you know, they're doing this gig for free, that's amazing, they're so nice, normally I'd pay £200 for that ticket, but to them it's time, and it is an ability, and I'm not trying to disregard what they're doing, because they're doing what they do best, to try do something for a cause, but you know, they do some rehearsals and they turn up and they do that, and that's great. That's no actual big dent in their sort of lifestyle, but that's a whole other kind of...
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the question's thrown up lots of different things that we can actually meditate upon. I mean, I can tell you one thing. Say about 20 plus years ago, in an interview, you'd normally be asking an artist about what songs meant and stuff. Now, they talk about what movie deal they're making. They talk about how many albums they've sold. They talk about what concerts they want you to go to. It's become so much about the commerce that one can be forgiven that these aren't artists anymore. These are very experienced businessmen and women. Some genres of music even celebrate the fact that there's a business side to their art, you know?
I think...
Like hip-hop.
But I think there is, I mean, business... A, it's the definition of art, and B, it's... the fact is that it is a business, it is an industry, and it needs the support and the stability of the business aspect in order to make it get to the people and all of that kind of jazz. I don't think that there's any harm whatsoever in having the business aspect, because we wouldn't have it. And also there's a lot of skills and intrigue and people who are employed in order to bring an artist out into the open. That's not to be disregarded. And I do know what you're trying to get in terms of, like, where is the authenticity of the art, and what do these songs mean and all that kind of jazz. But I think your issue would be more with people just putting out albums for the sake of putting out albums and not for the sake of something really inspired them. That's a different thing, but I don't think you can discredit artists for appreciating the business aspect, because they also do a lot of hard work in order to be able to make it a really big deal.
Indeed. I have more questions, which we'll save for another time, because we're dying to leave this place. So we shall go. We shall return on screen soon, viewers. Goodbye. Bye.